Okay, I think we are ready to start. So thank you so much for joining us today. This is Penn Engineering Online's admissions webinar. And today we have a great webinar planned for you. You are going to have the opportunity to meet some of our current students in the program. We have 3 students joining us today, and they're going to be talking about their journey in both the MCIT program. And we also have a student today who completed the MCIT program, graduated this past May, and is a dual degree student and is now working on the MSEDS online program as a dual degree student. So you have lots of great information to hear coming up. So we're really excited that you're here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jackie Panto. I am the admissions recruitment manager at Penn Engineering Online. I work with current students. I work with almost current students, folks that are applying to the program, and I help them all the way from the point of inquiry all the way through the application process, and hopefully until they're admitted. In addition to our current students today, we also have members of our student affairs team. They're going to be talking to you today about the resources that are available to you, how you can get involved, how you can reach out and communicate and collaborate with other students. So we have Adrienne Yoder, and Adrienne is our, and I'm cheating right now, she's our senior academic advisor. And nope, that's Tracy. Adrienne is our academic advising manager for MCIT. And we also have Tracy Stoidel, and Tracy is our senior academic advisor for MSEDS Online. So both of them are here to talk about the resources and how to get involved in the community. So lots of great information today for you, and we're so excited that you're here. Before we actually get started, I just wanted to go over 2 quick webinar housekeeping tips for you. First of all, we are being recorded, so there's no need to take notes. You can go back and watch this recording as many times as you want. If you feel you missed something, please go back and watch it. And as a matter of fact, all of our webinars are recorded, so we have a pretty extensive library of past webinars. They're a great resource when learning about our program, so I invite you to go back and look at past webinars. If you have a question today during our webinar, please use the Q&A function in the Zoom toolbar. Type your questions out. We actually have a couple people from our admissions team behind the scenes. We have Erin and we have Bushra. They are answering questions behind the scenes. They will answer your questions using that Q&A function. And then at the end of the seminar, our students, our 3 current students, will be also answering questions live on camera. So a couple of different ways to have your questions answered today. So I just wanted to get started to talk a little bit about the actual Penn degree and why the Penn online degree is so important. What are our points of difference? So regardless if you're interested in MCIT or MSEDS, the bottom line is you will be receiving a University of Pennsylvania degree. And our points of difference, what makes our degree so strong and so important, are a couple of different factors. First of all, it starts with our faculty. We have world-renowned faculty, and these are the same faculty member, the same world-renowned faculty that teach in our on-campus program, teach in our online program as well. So there are no shortcuts there. It is the same faculty members that'll be teaching you, and that you'll be able to also build some relationships with as well. In addition to that, all of our classes are asynchronized. They are professional asynchronized classes. We bring our all of our faculty members into our studio, and the courses are professionally done. And they're basically done with the end user in mind. So we're always keeping in mind, and our course development team always has the end user, the online student, in mind when they are filming these courses. So they're all professionally done. In addition to that, and along with that, is the flexibility. Not only are the courses asynchronized, you can build your schedule. You can decide if you want to be if you want to be full-time or part-time. You can decide how many classes to take. So 1 to 2 classes would be part-time, 3 to 4 would be full-time student. But you can decide that, and you can switch between semesters. One semester you can take 1 course, another semester you could take 2 or 3 courses. That is all up to you. Although it is a flexible program, I do want you to know that there is structure involved. So your work, you will have due dates for certain work. Your work will be released, your course projects and work will be released in a timely fashion. So maybe a module of work will be released and it might be due in a week or 2 weeks and everything has to be in that week or two. You do have the flexibility to choose when you want to do that work within that time frame. So again, the flexibility is so important, and it helps if you're a working full-time professional like so many are. The flexibility is key to be able to get through this program. So very, very strong points on why our program is so strong. And the last point and the last reason has to do with our community. We have so proud of this. We really have a very interactive and collaborative community. I saw evidence of this the first time and I participated in our first graduation, and we had a graduation like a little reception afterwards. And it was amazing to see all of these graduates in the room, and many of them were meeting each other for the first time, but it looked as if they knew each other for years. They were able to build connections within the program. And I think that's such a strong part of the Penn degree, is the fact that you'll have the opportunity to interact and collaborate with not only with students, but with faculty and staff, and everybody's so warm and welcoming and willing to help. And you'll have the ability to participate with that as a student. And that's the reason why we're here, to talk to our students and to talk to our student advising team, so you can get a good feel for that as well. So I just very quickly want to talk a little bit about the actual programs. So the MCIT program, for those of you interested in MCIT, MCIT is really like a one-of-a-kind program. It provides the ability to get a Master's of Computer and Information Technology, which is the same knowledge that's conferred in a traditional Master's of Science in Computer Science program. But you can do this without a background in computer science. So our students in the MCIT program come from all different backgrounds, liberal arts, business, you name it, all different backgrounds, but they all have a strong desire and a passion for computer science, but they don't have a background in it. So they come to the MCIT program, and we are, it's a program for them because they don't necessarily have that computer science background. They just have a strong desire for it, maybe based on what they're doing and what they've touched upon in their careers. So this is a great program. Again, it's a one-of-a-kind program for non-computer science majors. Our next program, which is our newest program, is our Masters of Science in Engineering and Data Science program, otherwise known as our MSEDS online program. And this is for individuals who really want to take a deep dive into data science. This is a great program. It's built upon the strengths of our on-campus program. Our MSEDS program, our on-campus program, has been around for quite some time. It's very successful. And the online program, again, is built from the strength of the on-campus program. Again, like I said in the beginning, it's the same world-renowned faculty member that teach in the on-campus program are teaching in the online program. What I always want to point out in this program is there's many data science programs out there, okay? But where the program lives is an important factor. There's data science programs that are offered in many business schools, and they're more analytical focused. They're more business analytic focused. This MSEDS program is brought to you, is part of our engineering school. So you are you're earning a degree in engineering and data science, which is a definite point of difference from some other data science degrees and programs out there. And that's a really important point. With that said, if you're looking to apply, you should probably meet one of the 3 criteria. We offer 3 pathways into the program. The first pathway is if you have an undergraduate degree in computer science, if you have an undergraduate degree in computer science and you're interested in taking the deep dive into data science, then absolutely apply to the program. That's the first pathway into the data science program. The second criteria, and you have to meet one of these, not all 3. If you have a minor in computer science, or you've completed maybe 4 computer science courses, either in your undergraduate or maybe even after your undergraduate degree, then yeah, this might be a great program for you to apply to. We've listed some of the courses that you might have taken: programming, discrete math, a hardware course, a data structures course, something along those lines. And they might be called different things, but as long as they cover some of these areas, then definitely you would fall into the second pathway for applying. And then another area, which is somewhat of a broader area is that you might have an undergraduate degree in a highly quantitative field, or a STEM field, something like statistics, math, physics, something along those lines, and you're coding, you're working, you have work experience as a data engineer, a data scientist, you're working in quantitative fields, or you're coding, then yes, this would be a program where if you needed to really take a deeper dive into data science, then yeah, you could fit into to one of these pathways, one of these criteria, and definitely apply to the program. So that kind of describes who we're looking for. And those are our two programs. I just want to spend a minute talking about our application. I'm sure many of you have started the application or you've looked at it. So I just want to point a few things out with the application before I turn it over to our student affairs team. So in order to submit the application, you need to complete your resume, a personal statement, upload your transcripts, and submit a $90 fee. That's what's needed to submit the application. Your letters of recommendation, you're going to supply the contact information for your recommenders. We'll send out that automatic email telling them what they need and how to upload the recommendations. But everything is due by deadline. So all of the recommendations would be due by the application deadline. So all of that is needed to apply. We have a great website that identifies what's needed for all of this. If you go to our application advice page, we go into pretty big detail on everything that's needed for this as well. Our GRE is optional. The GRE is a tool if you need to prove quantitative ability. If you're applying to the MCIT program and you feel you don't have enough quantitative or math courses, you can use the GRE as a tool, submit that test score to help to prove your quantitative ability. And the TOEFL is required if English is not your primary language, you're not a US citizen or US permanent resident, then you would have to take the TOEFL. The TOEFL can be waived if the university you graduated from, if the primary method of language was English, if that's the mode of instruction was English, then the TOEFL can be waived. And then on the second part of the slide, on the other side of the slide, gives our important dates and deadlines. We do have a deadline coming up August 2nd. That's for our early admission round. Applications for early deadline are due August 2nd, and that would be when our scholarship deadlines are as well. So if you're interested in our scholarship, the due date would be August 2nd, and then our regular decision deadline is October 3rd. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I know that was all pretty quick, but I'm going to turn it over to our student affairs team and to our students after that. So Adrienne, it's all yours. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jackie. So hi, everyone. My name is Adrienne Yoder. I'm the Academic Advising Manager for MCIT Online. And as an online student, you'll have access to a wealth of resources that will support you during your entire academic journey at Penn. So we've listed just a few here, and I'll go through each one and tell you a little bit about it. All right, so in the top left corner, the campus cultural centers. So you might have seen this in your undergrad. A campus cultural center is a center where people of similar backgrounds and experiences can come together and meet and do events together and social outings. This is a center such as the LGBT Center, the Maku Black Cultural Center at Penn, the Penn Women's Center. And as an online student, you do have access to participate with these campus cultural centers. A lot of their events take place on campus, but they are entirely accommodating to our online student population. So if you want to meet with a staff member there, or you want to join a group through those centers, or if you want to attend an event, they are more than willing to have you. So it's really great that we've been able to partner with them. All right, additionally, we have, as an online student, you would have access to the Penn libraries. The Penn libraries are also in and of themselves just a wealth of resources. We have quite a few. As an online student, you have access to all online materials all the time while you're active, including academic journals and articles. If you're more into, reading books and fiction, there are online ebooks. As well as you can get books shipped to you, and you can even stream movies through there. There are a lot of things that you can do through the libraries. And if you ever come to campus, you can actually visit them in person and get a Penn card and check books out. So it's a great resource for you guys. Additionally, when you graduate from your degree program, you have access as well to all of the Penn alumni services that on-campus students have. So some of these include the Penn Alumni Societies, the networking events that the societies put on, and the larger Penn Alumni Organization puts on. You'll even have access to My Penn, which is an online platform for all Penn current students and alumni to interface with each other. And it is like LinkedIn, but it's specific to Penn students, and it provides a little bit more information about the people you're connecting with on there, such as their majors, when they graduated, what areas they're located in, if you want to connect that way. Also, in addition to that, just so you're aware, we also at Penn Engineering Online keep in pretty close touch with our alumni, and we do invite them to the larger events that we host throughout the year, such as Fall Fest or the Penn Commencement, which we'll talk about a little bit later. All right, so as an online student, well, first of all, we know that many of you are career changers or thinking about moving on somewhere else to another job in your future. And as an online student, you get access to many of the same resources that on-campus students have, such as career fairs, engineering career fairs, workshops on resume building and interviewing. You'll have access to various job platforms, such as Handshake, if you're familiar with that. And then we have staff specifically who work with our online students that provide one-on-one advising sessions to look at your resume, to talk you through what you may be experiencing through your job search. They also host networking events and industry professionals and alumni events, so that you can, hear from people who are actually working in the field to see what their experience is and what they did to get the job. So we really have it covered there for you. Even if you can't access everything that on-campus students access for career services, there are a lot of services that are online for you. All right, additionally, with financial aid and scholarship opportunities, online students are eligible to receive financial aid as long as they're registered for at least 2 classes in their semester. During the application process, you are also eligible to apply for a scholarship, the Dean Scholarship that we have. On top of that, you can look for and research other scholarships that might be applicable to you that are not hosted by Penn necessarily, but we do have a few recommendations from our on-campus partners of where you could look for that. And lastly, we have a robust online community. It's one of my favorite things about working in the program. There are many, many ways you can connect with fellow students, with instructors, with core staff, such as TAs and academic coaches. And we'll talk about a little bit about that in the next slide. Great, thank you. All right, so how exactly do we build community at Penn Engineering Online? Well, one way as a student that you can do that is through getting involved in a student association. So I know for MCIT, we have an online association at the MCIT Online Student Association. They do a lot for our community. They host events, not just professional events, but social events online. They find ways to meet up in person based on the city that you're in. If you have suggestions or feedback for the program, that's a great resource to go to, and they then share it with us. They host hackathons, they host meet and greets, everything that you could think of, they have probably thought of it. And one really important thing that they do too is they host the peer mentoring program, which is a volunteer-based program where students who've been in the program longer can speak with incoming students or students that just want some extra advice and need some expertise on, the MCIT experience. So MOSA is a great association. And actually one of our panelists today was a former peer mentor. So a lot of people get involved in that. All right, additionally, we have a lot of events that we host throughout the year. A lot of the events, as I mentioned, are career focused or professional development events. So that can be a lot of networking, panels kind of like these, but where we bring in industry professionals. We host a lot of different types of webinars like resume building, preparing for the technical interview, the academic job search, things like that. So if there's something that you're interested, we probably have already done it or we're going to be hosting it in the future. Other great events that we host throughout the year are commencement and homecoming, and homecoming is now our Fall Fest. And these are actually two events that we host on campus where you as a student and our alumni are all invited to come to campus and, participate in a weekend of events with us, where they get to meet faculty, staff, you get to meet each other, and there's such a variety of things to do. It's really a fun time. We hosted our first one last year, and we're hosting our second one this year, and we're really excited to bring everybody back. Commencement, additionally, it's a great time to come to campus. We'll invite everybody back then, and it's really just a time to celebrate our graduates. Additionally, I wanted to mention too that as a student, there are a lot of ways that you can connect with each other. And one of the best ways to connect is through the Slack workspace. So some of you may be familiar with Slack. It's an online messaging platform where you can talk to other people in real time. And it's been described to us as sort of the backbone of the community at MCIT and MSEDS. It's where students get to talk about their courses, talk about things going on in the program, and they get to connect through like where they live. They get to create channels and do meetups that way. It's such a great resource where you tell everybody, get on it right away as soon as you join the program, because it really is kind of the lifeblood where you get to see what's going on and what's happening in that moment. So it's a great resource. Next, another great way to connect is as soon as you get admitted into the program, you can connect to our LinkedIn group, which has all of our alumni and current students in it. So you can start meeting students right away. And additionally, another way to connect, if you want to connect with your course staff and your courses, but we'll talk about soon, is through the Ed discussion boards, which are forums where you can post a question and a TA or somebody from the staff will get back to you within 24 hours. And I think, Tracy, you're going to be talking a little bit about that now. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Tracy Stoyle.
I sure am going to talk about it. Thanks, Adrian. Pleasure to meet you all, everybody. Again, my name is Tracy Stoyle, pronouns she, her. I am the Senior Academic Advisor, and I help support students in the dual degree program, as well as MSEDS Online. Adrian just mentioned Ed discussion, course staff, TAs. Let's get into that a little bit more. We have a big team of folks, our course staff and our TAs, who help us and help you as students to keep courses running smoothly and help ensure that you get all the support that you need for your classes. They maintain the Canvas platform. Not sure if any of y'all have used Canvas before. It's our learning platform where all of our courses are hosted. They help schedule live office hours and recitations, and those live office hours and recitations will happen around all different times of day in order to support different time zones and accommodate different schedules for folks. They'll work with you on any technical issues and troubleshoot anything. For example, if you're trying to submit your homework assignment and it's just not working, it's the due date, we have a whole course team that is there to support you and help troubleshoot so you can submit that. They also work with folks like myself and Adrian to let us know if they see any students who might be struggling in classes, so we can reach out, offer support, offer you resources, and just make sure that you are feeling the most successful that you can be in our courses and in your program. And with that, if you're hearing all this and all this talk about support has you excited and you want to offer support to folks, let's talk about more ways to get involved and offer your own support on the next slide here. So we do have different ways if you wanted to feel more involved on the course staff side. We have our teaching and learning practicum. This is a not-for-credit course. This is for students to get involved, get teaching experience. You'll attend seminars, webinars of professionals who have teaching experience, and you can do this multiple times. It's a great opportunity to get involved. We also have academic coaches. They work a lot with Adrian right now for our MCIT program. I will say for our MSEDS folks, it is coming. Hopefully in the next semester or two, you should see some academic coaches in an academic coaching program. For MSEDS Online, it's something we really want to start, just with the program being a little bit newer. We're just building that up and we'll get that started soon. So right now it's current students who are working with incoming MCIT students. They really help students navigate their first semester. They hold info sessions. You can really think of an academic coach as somewhere really between a mentor and a tutor. They'll talk to you about your coursework, but they'll also help you navigate resources to help you feel successful in your classes if you feel like you're struggling. They can even offer you job or career advice as well. They're really awesome. We're really proud of our academic coaching program. And then lastly, here we have our teaching assistants or TAs, as you may have seen in your previous academic careers. They're a part of our core staff. They're current students who have taken the courses before. They host office hours. They host recitations, right? We have here recitations where TA shows examples of problems in real time, and they'll go over those, and those can be recorded if you're unable to attend. So they are your main course support for a specific class as well. And with that, let's get into it and let's start this Q&A and meet some of our current students. I'm going to hit it over to Adrian and she'll introduce our student panelists, and let's get started.
Great. Thank you, Tracy, and welcome to our panelists. We're so excited to have you here today. Today we have Sana Ahmed, Connor Hausa, and Smitty Srinivasan, and we are thrilled that you could all join us. We're going to get into, who you guys are as you attendees and the audience can see. All of our students come from a variety of backgrounds. Both Sana and Schmitty are currently in the MCIT program. Connor just graduated and now is doing the dual degree program. So we'll talk a little bit about both those things. So great to have all three of you here today. We're just so excited to get to know you a little bit. So I want to go through each one of you at one at a time about, just to tell us about yourself, what you were doing before MCIT Online, and why did you choose the program? And let's get started with you, Smitty.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be able to speak to you all today. I'm very passionate about this program, so this is awesome. So my background was in neuroscience, as you may have seen in the last slide. I also had some minors that were thrown in there, but ultimately I was a pre-med student, and I was really dead set on doing that all throughout my undergrad. And I actually went as far as to apply and get into med school, and I took a year off to do that whole application process. And then I ended up, retracting my admission, and I decided to completely change career paths. So that was sort of a very non-traditional thing to do, I guess. But I'm so grateful that I did do that. And it was a few years in the making of soul searching and trying to understand where I saw myself in the future. But yeah, so that was my background, and I applied in August of 2022, got in September, and yeah, the rest is history.
Great. Thank you for sharing, Smitty. Sana, let's move on to you.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you, even if I can't physically see you all. My name's Sana. Similar to Smitty, I also did some soul searching for a couple of years before I decided on this program. My background's in city planning, and I worked for many years in government or government adjacent roles. And I essentially became more interested in kind of the space where data and technology kind of intersect with city planning. And through my years of soul searching and trying to figure out if I wanted to do computer science or data science, I landed on computer science and decided to apply for MCIT. And yeah, like Smitty said, the rest is history.
Great. Thanks, Sana. So both of you are big career changers. That's awesome. All right. And Connor.
Hey everyone, I'm Connor. My background is in physics and astronomy, and I finished that in 2016. And coming out of that, kind of realized like really like astronomy and physics, but I really liked where it intersected with technology a lot more. And I had done some projects that were very technically focused, and knew that I didn't want to pursue a graduate education in those fields afterward. Eventually, I became a developer at Vanguard, where I still work right now, in the financial services industry, and found myself learning on the job more than I wanted to do, which led me to find MCIT Online.
Great, thank you, Connor. All right, great to hear from you all. So for the second question, when students are preparing their application for MCIT Online, they really have to think about, all the criteria that they need to meet. And so I'm wondering if each of you could talk a little bit about what you did to prepare yourself to apply for the program, especially in terms of your quantitative experience for MCIT Online. So Sana, why don't we start with you?
Hi, so I applied quite a while ago. This was, I think, 2019, and I actually ended up deferring my admissions. I think I was a spring 2020 admit, and I deferred to fall. So during the time that I applied, maybe the quantitative requirement was maybe not as emphasized, but I did have some classes that I took in my undergrad that I could show for a quantitative requirement. I think in terms of that, if you're worried about maybe not meeting that requirement, I think going with the suggestions that MCIT staff have given, like taking the GRE or taking, classes that can demonstrate that you have that knowledge is definitely probably the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sana. Yeah, for folks coming in from completely different backgrounds, like non-STEM backgrounds, maybe liberal arts backgrounds, it's really helpful for us to see that you have some quantitative experience already. And you can learn more about that from our FAQs and speaking with our admissions counselors. Yeah, Connor, why don't we hear from you a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my background so like I said, I was a developer beforehand, so preparing for MCIT Online was I think I knew I had the quantitative experience, but it was talking about like was going to continue to work full time, and knew that I needed to get support from my employer to work with that. Unfortunately, I had a really good supervisor who was passionate about me learning and continuing to drive value in my job while I was doing that. So I think a lot of the preparation side was like trying to figure out how am I going to balance full-time work with the school, and kind of thinking like, okay, if I'm going to commit to this and I can get in, what are the resources here that I can use? How's the community? How's the core staff? Things like that, so that I knew that I could succeed.
Great. Yeah, that is something that is so important to think about as you're applying. MCIT can take quite a bit of your time during the week. We on average estimate that students will spend about 15 hours per week per course. So you really should be thinking about, as an applicant, thinking about how you're going to fit that into your busy schedule. So thank you, Connor. That's helpful to know. And Smitty, let's hear from you a little bit. How did you prepare?
Yeah, so my background, as I mentioned, was pre-med, which required me to take classes in statistics and calc. So I definitely did have some quantitative background, but I had taken a gap year at that point, and I felt that to really stand out in this application with little to no coding experience, that I did want to take the GRE and did want to focus on my quantitative score. And I think that helped in my application. Yeah, it was kind of, it obviously is an optional thing, but I think it is strongly recommended to do it, especially if you don't have a quantitative background. Yeah, I basically just focused on that when I was studying for the GRE, and that plus the essay and really talking about my passion for, healthcare technology and bridging that gap. That was really important. I will also say that on the MCIT website, there are a couple courses that are mentioned that are recommended to take prior to applying or while applying before you start the program, that I did take and I felt were really good to sort of like get my mind ready for the program once I got in. So a lot of like Python introduction and just more conceptual, coding things. So that was also super, super helpful.
Great. Thank you, Smitty. That's such a great recommendation. We'd love to see that on applications when students are really showing how interested they are in the program. They're taking our courses, if they need it, taking the GRE. So it's great to hear. All right. And I think I'll pass it over to Tracy now. She has a few questions for you.
Yeah, my next question is actually for Connor specifically, not to single you out, but you are our resident dual degree current student. So in a similar vein, when it comes to application preparation, and I'm seeing also quite a few questions in the Q&A about the dual degree program as well. So I'm sure students want to hear a little bit more about it who are in attendance. What made you choose the dual degree program? And I know you're taking a class, your first class right now. How is it going? Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so preparing for the dual degree program, I think rewinding back, some of the projects that I had done in astronomy and technology way back when, I didn't know at the time that a lot of that was leveraging like what is data science tech today, machine learning and AI. So like having rediscovered that through electives that I took in MCIT, I was like, man, this was the stuff I was passionate about in technology, and I wanted to get back into that. And that's at the same time that the MSEDS online program was being started. And hearing things about like AI and ChatGPT in the news was like, okay, this seems like the future. This seems like a good thing to invest in. I really want to, put together my plan of study with Tracy, make sure I have all my ducks in a row, that this is something I can do and succeed in. And yeah, I think my first course now I'm taking is natural language processing. And I'm finding that very fascinating, like the building blocks from bottom up, like how ChatGPT works, all the various different language models that were built to get to what we use today. And it's actually been exciting. I've gotten to start using some of that at work while I'm still learning about it. So it's been great.
Glad to hear it's been going great. To address some of the questions that I do see in the Q&A, I'm happy to just explain a little bit further about what exactly the dual degree program is a bit. Connor mentioned like having a plan of study and all that. That's super important. And what does that even mean to you all, as I want to put into some context? So it's a dual degree with the MCIT degree and our MSEDS degree. You'll fully complete and graduate from MCIT first. Sorry, my cat's joining us today. He likes to join presentations sometimes. And once you graduate, you can then apply for the dual degree program and transfer 4 courses that you took as electives from MCIT, transfer them into the MSEDS program, and just complete 6 more classes. So you can think of it as 2 degrees for 16 CUs. If you're thinking about the dual degree program right now, amazing, that's awesome. And feel free, once you're like started in the MCIT courses, taking a few courses, you have them under your belt, get through some of the core, but no need to rush thinking about the dual degree program just yet as a new MCIT student. I guess my question for you, Connor, is like, when did you start thinking about applying for the dual degree program? Like, how far were you into MCIT, would you say?
I think I was about just finishing my 6th course, so 60% of the way through when I had really started seriously considering that. And when it was announced, knowing that I had also taken electives that leaned into data science that actually ended up becoming requirements for the MSEDS online program, that having nurtured my interest in those courses, that's when I knew that this is what I really would like to invest in continue my education with.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I think that's helpful for folks who are watching as well, is when to start thinking about it. I'll move on to the next question that we have for more folks. Your career changers, most of you, students who might be taking online courses for the very first time, taking CS courses for the very first time. Did you face any challenges while in the program? And if you did, how did you overcome them? I'm going to turn over to you, Sana, to answer this first for us.
Definitely faced a lot of challenges, especially someone without a STEM background. I think using the resources that are available to you as a student. So, not spending too much time getting stuck on a problem before, reaching out to either a TA or a course staff, or, if it's a broad enough question that you can ask, posting on Slack, because it's very possible that one of your other classmates is stuck on a similar problem. And I think I've realized over time that that's definitely the case. So, don't feel afraid to ask for help or feel like you're the only person who's stuck on that problem, because that's just not true.
Thanks for that. I think it's nice to normalize that challenges may happen in the program. What happens after that, and the places of support that you do have, because we really pride ourselves in all of the different places you can seek support for your success. Smitty, I'll turn it over to you. Have you faced any challenges, and how'd you overcome them?
Yeah, definitely faced challenges. Certainly in the beginning, also towards the middle and the end. So it's kind of like you have to be very flexible and very adaptable throughout this program. I think each course offers new and different challenges. But I would probably, my best advice that I could give is that try out different schedules for yourself. So especially if you're working part-time or full-time, really try to work through the week and see what study schedule works for you, when to start your homeworks, because that really, really, really comes in handy throughout the program once you start getting into the more difficult courses. So I think the first, semester is just kind of trial and error, and you kind of gotta, especially if you don't have a computer science background, it's difficult. But what really helped me was making sure my schedule was working for me, and making sure that I was prioritizing schoolwork, and also I was working part-time. So balancing those two things was difficult. But once I got that schedule down, it was like, I knew exactly, okay, Monday at 4 p.m. what I'd be doing. That might be a little anal for some of you, but I really do like to schedule down every hour of every day. And I feel like that has helped me. And also, as Sana mentioned, the resources are incredible. You are not alone in this program whatsoever. You might think you are in the first week or so, but then you'll quickly realize that ed discussion is amazing. Slack is amazing. You will get responses from peers as well as TAs and professors. They are so willing to help you. And that has been like amazing to realize throughout the program.
Absolutely. Time management is key. Trial and error with that time management. It's okay if the first thing that you try with managing your time doesn't work. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you frustrated. Pick up something, try again. If that's not working, ask Adrian or I, right? That's what we're here for. We have resources we can point you to. Ask your wonderful Penn Engineering Online community. Join Slack and ask Smitty, how are you mapping out your hour by hour? Please help me. What tool do you use? We want everyone to feel successful. I think time management is a great point you made there, as well as combining that with the support network that you now have. So thanks for that. Great stuff. The next question that I have is, tell us more about your commitments in addition to your coursework, talking about time management. For example, tell us more about what work-life balance does look like for you. what has been the best support for you to manage some of these time commitments? I know we talked about that a little bit, but I have been seeing some time management questions pop through in the Q&A as well. So if Connor, you wanted to jump into that question a little bit more to talk more about work-life balance and best sources of support.
Yeah, so I think over the years, the best point of support I have had has been my supervisor at work. He's been very understanding of like, hey, I would like to take, typically I work 9 to 4 or 7 to 4, but I'm taking a test from 7 to 10 for MCIT Online. And having that clear communication with him and my team, and that understanding and support from them is critical for me to be able to manage my course loads, however I need to. But I've had things, I've gone through it being, I've got deliverables at work. I need to manage my time more efficiently. And it's led to me having to sacrifice a weekend to meet my commitments for school as well. So it always works out in the end. Sometimes not how you plan to, but having a supportive work environment really helped me there too. And beyond that, I could just echo everything that Smitty said about Slack and Ed Discussion in particular. Those are excellent resources, especially if you're getting started late on this assignment. You can kind of see where everyone else has been having problems with, if there's been helpful hints from faculty or other students on how to proceed with something. So,
Connor? And having a supportive supervisor is amazing. I'm really happy to hear that, that's a source of support that you have. I'll turn it over. You mentioned Smitty. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Smitty, to talk a little bit more about how you manage your commitments as well and what you've been doing.
Yeah, so I started the program actually full-time, or I guess it's not full-time, it's part-time. I was taking two classes my first semester. And after I completed that, I decided to apply for an internship. So I think someone might have asked that in the chat, doing internships and just working in general during this program. As Jackie mentioned, it's super, super flexible. And that is, why I joined this program. I wanted to advance my career while also advancing my, education. So I applied for this internship. I was not taking classes over the summer, although that is an option to take summer classes. And I actually continued that internship into a co-op. And I was doing that part-time throughout, up until now. So I've been taking 2 classes a semester, except for that first summer, and I'm projected to graduate in 2 years total. So as Connor mentioned, the most important thing was my manager understanding that I am a master's student and I have other commitments. So I would basically outline, okay, these are the hours I would work. So I would work from 11 to 4 p.m. is when I work. And then I do MCIT stuff before and after. I'm also a TA. So I intersperse that throughout the day as well. But yeah, it's been amazing that I can work 11 to 4. I feel like that's those are odd hours, but my managers have been super, super open to that. And yeah, it's honestly not been as bad as as hard as I thought it would be, because of the flexibility that my managers have given me, the flexibility of this program. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I know we have about 2 more questions, so let me hand it back over to Adrian, so we can do our best to get to those last 2 before we wrap it up here.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. All right. So I'm sure some things that our audience members are wondering about is more of the social aspect of the program. So first of all, I want to hear a little bit, about where each of you are from, and if you've had an opportunity to connect with other students in the program, either geographically, like through where you're located, or even just online if you've been able to connect. So Connor, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so I think that this has honestly been one of my favorite parts of the program is the socializing, because I was not actually anticipating it coming into MCIT Online. I thought that there was going to be no socialization, no networking, It was going to be awkward online, and it was anything but that. I've been able to leverage that Slack backbone of the community to arrange meetups from where I'm from in Philadelphia. I've also had meetups in Europe and Munich, LA, New York. When I've been fortunate enough to travel out there, you send out the proverbial bat signal, and someone's ready to hang up or hang out with you, get drinks, large social gatherings, especially in some of the larger cities. And those have all been great. And those have happened independently of the official Penn events like Fall Fest mentioned before. So getting to know plenty of people who are doing the same thing as me, just online elsewhere, but still being able to meet them in person has been amazing.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Connor. I know even myself, I've met up with people in Salt Lake City, and this August, going out to Vancouver and meeting some people. So it's just really fun. It's really exciting when that happens. Smitty, let's hear a little bit from you.
Yeah, so this is also my favorite thing to talk about because I also was not expecting it. But I was pleasantly surprised with how open. I think going into the program, everyone is kind of freaking out that you're going to be too isolated, and you're not going to be able to meet people. So that I feel like that pushes people to reach out a little bit more too. So I will talk about Slack because I'm very passionate about Slack. There's a lot of channels on Slack that are great. There's community channels where you are updated on events and meetups and things like that that are happening within MCIT. There's also a career advice channel, which has been amazing. People will literally be like, hi, like, are you trying to apply for this position, this job? I will put a reference in for you. So people are so kind on these Slack channels. There are various other channels on there, like, for a certain course, we have like course pets, you upload pictures of your pets, and it's great. And yeah, it's just I check Slack literally every day, all day, and I always feel like I'm surrounded by like an actual community. It's not that different from going into class, other than having to watch my lectures online. And then I also want to mention Fall Fest was amazing for me. I went for the first time last year. I met a bunch of people. I met Connor. I met all of the MCIT staff. I met my professors, which was awesome because a lot of them are literally famous on campus and off campus. So they're super cool. And I made a lot of friends that I literally still keep in touch with today, and who were like, okay, what class are you taking next semester? You link up about that, and you kind of are on the same page, doing the coursework together. You feel super supported. Highly recommend going to any event that MCIT hosts, and there are a lot. But yeah, it's a great community, super social, more social than you think. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Thanks, Smitty. That's so great to hear. And Sana, yeah, tell us a little bit about your experience in MCIT.
Yeah, so I live in the Southern California region, so I get to kind of dip between the people who are in MCIT in this area, and then as well in Northern California. And it's great. I mean, on Slack, there are different channels for people in different regions. So like, Connor was saying, like, if you're traveling, you can connect with people in other cities. And I like to think of it as you have friends all over the world, which is really great. I've, flown out to see friends in the program, and I also went to graduation. I didn't graduate myself, but I got to see my friends graduate. That was my first time seeing the campus, and it was really a great opportunity. Yeah, like both of them said, it's a lot more social than I anticipated, and people are really open. I do have wonder also, COVID has kind of helped with the online format of things. People are kind of used to reaching out in that way now, and I think people are really open to leverage that.
Great. Thank you, Sana. It's so great to hear from all of you about this. And I'm glad you've just taken advantage of Slack and all the other resources to meet each other. That's so great. All right, and we have one more question. I think we have a little bit of time. Is that right, Jackie? Great. One last question for all of you. This is more about the course experience too. So we are wondering if you've participated in office hours with professors or TAs, and if you can describe that experience a little bit. So Sana, why don't we start with you?
Definitely, I think I am a pretty frequent user of all of those resources. I haven't participated in professors' open office hours as much as I would like to. I think sometimes the timing doesn't always work out for my schedule, and in my experience, I've noticed they tend to be a bit more geared towards, they're a bit more open-ended and kind of delving deeper into kind of like the lecture material and sometimes more of the theoretical aspects of the course material. Whereas recitations and TA office hours are sometimes more geared towards kind of content review and homework help as well. And I've definitely relied on those. And there's, especially for TA office hours, there's a lot of opportunities throughout the week to attend those, and they're pretty good about scheduling them, at least at times that are convenient across the different, time zones, at least in my experience. And, if you can't attend those, then, there's also a discussion. So you can post your question there and someone from the course staff will answer your question. And they're usually pretty good about getting back in a timely manner.
Great, thank you, Sana. I think we have time for one more person to speak on this. So maybe Smitty, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have used everything, anything and everything that has like any resources basically. Professor office hours are great. Like Sana said, it's a little bit more informal. You get to know the professor a little bit more, and you do delve into deeper topics if you're super interested in something that was taught and you have other questions that don't necessarily pertain to the homework. That's a great space to sort of ask those questions. I go there, mostly in the beginning of the semester to get to know the professor. So he or she sees my face. That it's a great opportunity to feel like you're actually in a classroom also. TA office hours are great. Again, like Sana said, to talk about homeworks and stuff. Ed discussion also is a great resource. There's literally never been a time where I am coming close to the deadline for a homework or a project and I felt like I am like drowning and I don't know what to do, because at that point I would have posted on Ed discussion, gone to TA office hours and done all that stuff, and I would have certainly gotten the help that I needed. But yeah, and if you have specific homework questions, TA office hours are great. Yeah, it's great. The office hours are amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Smitty. And in case anybody is wondering, the office hours are hosted at all times of the day so that we can catch people in most time zones. So they're live and there should be an opportunity for you to attend. So thank you all so much for sharing. We loved hearing from you, and I'll pass it back over to Jackie.
Thank you so much. You guys did great on explaining your journeys. I'm sure that our audience really got a good feel for what it's like to be a student. So I appreciate it very much. I'm just going to throw up one last slide just to show you what to do. The webinar is almost over, and all of a sudden you realize you still have about 5 more questions, or maybe you put questions in the Q&A. I know we had many questions and we were frantically trying to get all of them answered, but a couple places you can look if you still have questions and we haven't answered them. We have a great FAQ database in our website. Please go to our website, go to that database, type in your question, and I bet you're going to find your answer. If you don't, email us, email online-admission@SEES. We get back to you. We do our best to get back to you within 24 hours. There's a few of us on there manning that email. We also have private office hours. Admissions team has office hours. We're giving you the link there if you can jot that down, and you can meet with us. We have office hours now since we're close to deadline. I believe we started, or we will be starting our Saturday hours as well. So we'll have hours on the weekend as well. Also, we have upcoming events. We have a lot of coffee chats coming up. Coffee chats are a great place to ask your questions. There was a lot of really specific questions that I saw in the Q&A. So attending a coffee chat and asking that question would be a great thing. So please either sign up for office hours or come to a coffee chat. If we didn't answer your question, it's not that we don't want to help you. We really were really working very quickly to get them all answered, but we do have events coming up. So please come to a coffee chat. And if you're not on our mailing list and you're not receiving emails from us, please join and make sure that you request information. We communicate a lot about upcoming events and all new things that are going on in the programs and deadlines and whatnot. So that's important as well. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today. To all of our panelists, our students, Tracy, Adrian, everybody, thank you so much. You guys were amazing. And everybody out there, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.